time for Wildcat baseball. Let's go to Wildcat Park. Calling tonight's game is KSST Sports Director Don Julian. Don?
James Terry, thank you very much, and welcome everyone into Wildcat Park. We've got district baseball on a Tuesday night with the Royse City Bulldogs and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs. And both teams wanting a win badly here to kind of move from the bottom part of the standings on up a little higher. Wildcats currently in fourth place with a record of 2-3, 2 games out of first place, and Royse City is down in the cellar. I think Greenville may be tied with them. I believe I have that right, with 1-4 records. I kind of put that together from memory, so I hope I got all that right. But I know Royse City, they're definitely 1-4. And the Wildcats 2-3. Let's check in with Jeff Harris now.
Batting first, playing center field, number 6, Josh Kendricks. Batting second, the DH, number 4, Blake Anderson. Batting third, playing left field, number 23, Jonathan Burton. Batting fourth, playing first base, number 15, Cade Gitt. Batting fifth, playing third base, number 5, Tyson Oliver. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, number 2, Rowdy Chandler. Batting seventh, and catching tonight for the Bulldogs, number 24, Drake Warner. Batting eighth, playing right field, number 10, Landon Cagle. Batting ninth, playing second base, number 20, Grayson Williams. On the mound tonight for the Bulldogs is number 25, Seth Sazy. Now here's the rest of the Bulldog roster. Number 1, Ty Pinson. Number 3, Ben James. Number 7, Gavin Lynch. Number 8, Logan Maxey. Number 9, Cole Stewart. Number 11, Gage Elder. Number 12, Andrew Alonzo. Number 13, Caden Clay. Number 16, Corbin Perryman. Number 19, Johnny Lowe. Number 22, Nathan East. Number 32, Samuel Cole. Number 33, Jacob Bowie. And number 42, Trace Kimber. The head coach of the Bulldogs is Clay Wolf. Assistant coaches Kelly Moore, Chris DeBona, Will Foster, and Michael Tujanovich. And now, here is the lineup for your Sulphur Springs Wildcats. Batting first, playing center field, number 11, Austin Dodd. Batting second, catching tonight for Sulphur Springs is number 3, Caden Argenbright. Batting third, playing first base, number 4, Jackson Cheney. Batting fourth, playing shortstop, number 5, Chase Thompson. Batting fifth, playing right field, number 8, Cameron Harrison. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 7, Will Sims. Batting seventh, and on the mound tonight for the Wildcats, number 14, Payson Edwards. Batting eighth, playing second base, number 6, Colson Ted. Batting ninth, the DH tonight for the Wildcats, number 1, Bryce McQueen. And playing right field, number 17, Connor Bergen. Here is the rest of the Wildcat roster. Number 2, Jake Davis. Number 12, Jace Birchfield. Number 15, Cameron Zahn. Number 21, Austin Krause. Number 24, James Janway. Head coach of Sulphur Springs this year, Hammett. Assistant coaches Bruce Silman, Shane McQueen, Cameron Warren, and Joey Chastain. And now, fans, let's play baseball.
All right, it's Jeff Harris with introduction of both teams here. And Payson Edwards warming up for the Wildcats, a starter tonight. Coach Hammock normally on a Tuesday night would throw Will Sims, but Royse City has already seen Will this year, and Coach Hammock likes for a team never to get a second look at one of his starters. And so he bringing out Payson Edwards tonight. Then Friday night he will have Jace Birchfield, which they have not seen him either. They've only played one game in district play. That was the district opener as they started out with playing everybody through once, and then we'll have a series of 2 games in a week, Tuesday, Friday, with everybody in the district. That'll go on now for the next 5 weeks. This is Royse City week for the Wildcats. So Edwards is catching. Caden Argenbright is behind home plate doing the catching. Jackson Cheney at first. Colson Hale at second, Will Sims at third, and Jace Thompson at shortstop. Connor Bergen will be out in left, Austin Dodd in center, and Cameron Harrison in right field for the Wildcats. First 3 scheduled hitters for Royse City here in the top of the first inning will be the center fielder Josh Hendricks, designated hitter Blake Anderson, and then the left fielder Jonathan Burton. And Hendricks, a left-handed hitter for the Bulldogs. Again, in the first round, they defeated the Wildcats 3-0 in Royse City. Really good pitching that night and turned a lot of double plays, according to their coach, Clay Wolf. Here's a first pitch now from Payson Edwards, and that one is down too low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Edwards was ready to go, and then he stepped back off the pitching rubber. Now he's ready to go against Hendricks. A big open stance, and that pitch is in there for a call strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Hendricks, the leadoff hitter for the Royse City Bulldogs. They're 8-12 on the season. Wildcat season record at 10-4. And Edwards with the 1-1 pitch. Ooh, that almost hit him. He had to jerk back out of the way. And 2-1 the count now to Hendricks, leading off the Bulldogs here in the top of the first inning. And the 2-1 pitch on the way. That's in there for a call strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Live video streaming tonight, by the way. We appreciate Coach Wolf over at Royse City for agreeing to that. And the 2-2 pitch on the way outside. The count goes full now to the first hitter here, Josh Hendricks. And Hendricks back there in the batter's box. And here comes Edwards with the 3-2 pitch on the way. It swung on, hit foul off to the left side. That stayed in the park, but it was well off the left field line. Just hit right inside the fence down there that runs along foul territory. And so Edwards will have to do it all over again here. And the 3-2 pitch on the way. Call, strike 3. Hendricks got ready to throw the bat away, and the umpire rang him up for strikeout. And here's Blake Anderson. He's a designated hitter for the Bulldogs. And he'll hit from the right side. And taking his time getting in that batter's box. Now he steps in against Payson Edwards, facing his second batter. Threw 7 pitches to that first batter. And here's the first pitch to Anderson. He swings and pops the ball to shortstop. Jace Thompson makes the one-handed catch, and that's out number 2. So 2 up and 2 out. And here's Jonathan Burton, 3-hole hitter for Royse City. Big lefty, or maybe a big righty. How about a right-handed hitter? I thought he was stepping across the plate, which he did, but he was picking up a bat and tossing it back toward the Royse City dugout. So here's big Jonathan Burton. And Edwards' pitch on the way. Call, strike. That was right on the outside part of the plate. Went 0-1 the count now to Burton. He's a left fielder. And Edwards winds up, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. That was up a little high, and Burton took a big whack at it, and he's in the hole 0-2. And Burton steps back in. And here comes the 0-2 pitch now, and it's swung on and popped on the infield. And Jackson Cheney comes in on the grass and makes the catch. And an easy 11-pitch inning for Payson Edwards. So 3 up and 3 down for Royse City. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We've played half an inning now from Wildcat Park. Royse City 0, and the Wildcats coming to bat. So bottom of the first inning. And the Wildcats' first 3 scheduled hitters, Austin Dodd, Caden Argenbright, and Jackson Cheney. Going against Seth Sacy. And that would be spelled the common way, of course, and I'm kidding. It is S-E-I-S-E. Sacy. If you say so. No, not that. There's a throw down to second base by Drake Warner. He's the catcher. Sacy is the pitcher. Cade Hyde at first. Grayson Williams at second. Tyson Oliver at third. Rowdy Chandler at short. Jonathan Burton in left. Josh Hendricks in center. And Landon Cagle out in right field. And here's Austin Dodd. Leadoff hitter for the Wildcats. Hits from the right side. Infield is back deep for him. Third baseman even with the bag. The first baseman creeps in just a little bit on Dodd. And here's Sacy's first pitch, and it's up too high for ball 1 to Austin Dodd. Pretty good crowd beginning together here at Wildcat Park. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's outside. 2-0 the count. And Dodd back in the batter's box. And Seth Sacy misses outside, and Dodd goes to a 3-0 count. Exactly the first thing that happened to him against Texas High. There's a 3-0 pitch, and that misses outside, and a 4-pitch walk to Austin Dodd to get the Wildcats going here in the bottom of the first inning. Maybe it'll be like the JV game. All the runs in that game, by the way, well, I'm not real sure about that. Anyway, Royse City scored 1 in the top of the first in the JV game, and the Wildcats scored 6. So a big first inning. And now Caden Argenbright with Dodd, a good lead off of first, and that pitch is going to be missed somewhere. 1-0 the count. And so Sacy has yet to find the strike zone from the stretch. And the next pitch is swung on and nubbed out in front. It's a good, like a bunt, a throw to first. And Argenbright is out from the catcher over to first baseman. But it really was as good as a bunt because it was put right about where you would perfectly place a bunt. And so 1 out and a runner in second now, just like you would sacrifice. And here's big power hitting Jackson Cheney. And again, a speedy runner, Dodd at second base. Good base runner. And Sacy from the stretch. And the pitch on the way, a kind of a looping pitch, looped outside to Cheney. 0-1, or 1-0 the count, ball 1. Again, looking in for that sign, the Bulldogs pitcher. And the 1-0 pitch, and that is in there for a call strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jackson Cheney. Again, Dodd leading off second base, and both second and shortstop are threatening to come in behind him. And Sacy now turns and throws. Oh, he threw it into center field. Dodd running to third. The center fielder will throw that way, not in time. And a throwing error on the pitcher moves Dodd down to third base. Center fielder had a pretty good shot at Austin Dodd, that throw from Josh Hendricks. But Dodd with that speed just beat that ball into third base. So runner at third now with just 1 out. And 1 ball and 1 strike on Jackson Cheney. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and that's blocked nicely by the catcher, Drake Warner. And the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. So Stacey, kind of a rough start to this ball game for him. And the 2-1 pitch just missed. That was a close pitch, and the count is 3-1 now to Jackson Cheney. And the 3-1 offering is outside. So a pair of Wildcat walks here in the first. Runners at first and third with just 1 out. And here's Jace Thompson. Shortstop comes in. That was Rowdy Chandler, and he had a few words for Stacey as starting pitcher. Going to calm him down a little bit, I'm sure. And here's Jace Thompson, the cleanup hitter for the Wildcats. Hits with runners at first and third. The first pitch is low and outside, ball 1. Well, Stacey having a hard time throwing strikes here. He's had only a couple. And 12 pitches. And the next pitch on the way, buzzed Thompson inside, 2-0 the count. And Jackson Cheney, or excuse me, Austin Dodd at third and Jackson Cheney at first for the Wildcats. Cheney a pretty good lead off first. Here's the next pitch. Thompson hits it up the middle. They touch second. They throw to first. And just like they did the last time against the Wildcats, the Royse City Bulldogs very opportunistic with a double play. And double play gets them out of the inning. On the ground ball, the shortstop was near second. He touched second, threw to first. So the Wildcats, no runs, no hits, no errors. They had 1 runner left on base. So we played 1 inning here at Wildcat Park. Royse City 0, the Wildcats 0. And Cade hit. Now the first baseman for Royse City will lead off here for the Bulldogs in the top of the second inning. He's a cleanup hitter batting against Payson Edwards. Hits from the left side. And the pitch on the way misses outside for ball 1 to Cade Hit. What a great baseball name, huh? And the 1-0 pitch swung on and lashed into right field. A base hit for Hit. That's our first hit in the ball game. Who's on first? Who got the first hit? Hit. No, who got the first hit? It could go on for a while. So runner at first with nobody out. And here's Tyson Oliver. And he is the third baseman for Royse City. The ball swung on and hit back up the middle, and that's going to be through to center field for a base hit. Hit turns second and will head to third. And now the first 2 batters have gotten base hits here in the second inning. So runners at the corners for Royse City with nobody out. And that'll bring up Rowdy Chandler, the shortstop for Royse City. Now the umpires are going to break up the meeting out at the mound.
The shortstop, Rowdy Chandler.
So runners at the corners for the Bulldogs, nobody out. Wildcats would like to turn 2. I guess they would give up a run if they could get the 2 outs. Edwards from the stretch now. Pitch against Chandler. Runner's taking off for second base, and Argenbright thought about throwing behind the runner. The runner stole second, so Oliver swiped second. So that makes it third and second with nobody out. 2 runners in scoring position. And 2-0 the count now to Chandler. Edwards steps off, now steps back on there. And Edwards from the stretch. Wildcats infield now in, and the pitch on the way swung on, hit foul down the left side. And 2-1 the count to Rowdy Chandler. He's in the 6th spot in this Royse City batting order. Again from the stretch. And the 2-1 pitch. Outside it goes. 3-1 the count. One pitch from loading up the bases here in the 2nd inning. Again, Edwards from the stretch. And the 2-1 pitch on the way swung on and foul back in the screen. The count goes full now to Rowdy Chandler. The scoreboard's got 2-2. I thought there might have been an extra pitch in there, but I just figured I missed one. But, so let's correct the count. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chandler. In that Wildcat infield end to try to cut that run down at home plate. Edwards with a 2-2 pitch, and that's up too high. Now we've gone full here to Chandler, the shortstop for Royse City. And again, Edwards from the stretch. And the 3-2 pitch swung on, and that's a base hit out to left field. Well, it gets away from Connor Bergen, but the runner had already stopped at third base, so he did not gear up. I don't think he maybe even knew that ball was bobbled out there. So a RBI single for Royse City. And they still have runners at the corners now with a run in. So 3 straight singles to start off the top of the 2nd inning. Runners at 1st and 3rd, nobody out. A run in, and here's the catcher, Drake Warner. That pitch misses, ball 1. Up a little bit too high. And Edwards from the stretch. And the 1-0 pitch. Argenbright will throw through to second base, and they got the runner out at second base, and the runner at third stayed put. So Royse City tried for another stolen base there, and Rowdy Chandler was thrown out by Argenbright. So a nice throw there by Argy for out number 1. Runner still at third now with just 1 out, and the count is 1-0 to Wagner. Here, pitch on the way is swung on and hit down the right field line. That's going to be in there for a hit. That'll be an extra base hit. Is tearing into second, and the runner will hold right there. With RBI double for catcher Drake Warner. And Royse City has 2 runs in the inning, and they've had 4 straight hits. The only runner retired was a runner trying to steal a base. So Royse City has plated a couple of runs here with 4 straight hits. And here's Landon Cagle. He's the right fielder for Royse City, and we have a runner. And Jeff Harris said that was Jacob Bowling coming in to run at second base for that catcher, who looked like he ran pretty good to me. He got down to second pretty darn quick. And here's Cagle, the right fielder for the Bulldogs. And the pitch from Edwards stayed outside for ball 1. So Edwards kind of struggling after a 3-up and 3-down first. He has allowed 4 straight hits here, 3 singles and a double. And Royse City has scored a couple of runs here. And that pitch hit the batter. And so a hit batsman. So struggling performance here so far here in this inning by Payson Edwards. Well, runners at second and first, still just one out, and here's Grayson Williams. He's hitting in the 9 hole. Right-handed hitter for Royse City. And Edwards, after a pretty tame first inning, has had a 14-pitch inning, and he's far from being out of it. That pitch buzzed inside, but ball 1. Again, 1 out for the Wildcats, and Royse City has runners at second and first and 2 runs in here. Infield's looking for a double play for the Wildcats. There's a 1-0 pitch that's outside, 2-0 the count to Grayson Williams. And Edwards from the stretch. And now he'll step off there and causes the batter to step out, and the runner at second went back to the bag. They're not holding that runner down at first base, Cagle. That pitch is swung on and hit foul back into the screen. 2-1 the count to Grayson Williams. So Royse City busting out the bats here in the top of the second inning. 2 runs on 4 hits. And again, Edwards from the stretch. And the 2-1 pitch is bunted, and bunted in the air back behind the catcher and the umpire. Nobody could get to it, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Edwards has a strikeout. He has not walked a batter. But Royse City hitting their way on here. Again, Edwards from the stretch. And the 2-2 pitch is swung on, again foul back into the screen, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Second game between the 2 teams in district play. Again, Royse City won at home. The first district ball game. I was in San Antonio hearing about that game. That was the Wednesday before the Wildcats played in the state tournament on Thursday. This pitch is swung on and hit out to left field. Connor Bergen has it measured and makes the catch in fairly shallow left field. And that's out number 2.
Center fielder Josh Hendricks.
And here's the center fielder, Josh Hendricks. You know, that lineup snafu, I wondered about that big fella that hit for Royse City. He looked like, you know, a big outfielder. He was supposed to be the left fielder, and I thought, man, that is a big, big man to be out in the outfield. But here's Hendricks, the leadoff batter. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. Hendricks struck out in the top of the first inning, so he is 0 for 1. And from the stretch, and the 1-0 pitch. It misses outside, 2-0 the count to Hendricks. Again, the Bulldogs have runners at second and first. And 2 runs in the inning. It's 4 straight hits to start the inning. And the 2-0 pitch, that's in there for a call strike. 2-1 is the count. And again, boy, when he starts that, Hendricks with that wide open stance. And then he comes around straight away, and he'll pop that ball out toward Austin Dodd in center field. Dodd seems to have it measured and makes the catch out there. But Royse City gets something going as they break into the runs column with 2 runs. They had 4 hits. There were no Wildcat errors, and a couple of runners left on base for the Royse City Bulldogs. We played an inning and a half now from Wildcat Park. It's Royse City 2 and Wildcats 0. And the bottom of the second now, the Wildcats trying to play some catch-up here as they're down 2-0. First hitter in this inning is Cameron Harrison against Seth Sacey. And Stacey's pitch misses inside. He struggled mightily with his control in the first inning, but managed to get out of it with a very timely double play. Here's a 1-0 pitch. That's in there, a call strike to Harrison, who had a wonderful moment in that Texas High game, hit a 2-run home run to tie that ball game up in the 6th inning. That pitch inside almost looked like it hit him on the foot there, came close but missed. And the count 2-1. Harrison, the left-handed hitter, and here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's inside, again close to him. Stacey doesn't mind pitching inside. And he's now down on the count 3-1, and he has thrown a lot of pitches in the early going. There's the 3-1 pitch, call strike, and the count goes full to Cameron Harrison. Harrison, the right fielder tonight. And this pitch is swung on and hit. It's a fair ball. First base umpire. Oh no! They call Harrison out. Looked like he had beat the first baseman to the bag, but called out at first base. Boy, Bruce Silman, he's always a gentleman. He is holding his head right now, trying to hold it in, I think. So Harrison out 3 unassisted. It sure did look from my untrained eye from this distance that Harrison, who's very fast, had beaten that first baseman to the bag. He did not field it cleanly, had trouble coming up with it. Here's a pitch to Will Sims, hits a foul ball. The third baseman is over, and it came back into the field and landed without being caught. So Sims a little bit lucky on that one, 0-1 the count. And the 0-1 pitch now from Seth Stacey. Another looping pitch, and this misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out for the Wildcats, nobody on, and Sims with a 1-1 count. Swung on and hit out toward right field. The right fielder looks like he's got it measured out there and makes the catch. So 2 up and 2 out. That'll bring up Payson Edwards, trying to help out his own pitching cause here. And Edwards into the batter's box, hits from the right side. 2 out, nobody on. Pitch from Stacey is low and outside for ball 1. So as wild as Stacey's been, plus sound like a lot of pitches. Well, he's thrown 12 an inning right now, and that is below par. And the 1-0 pitch. That's a call strike on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's a 1-1 pitch on the way. Swung on and hit foul off to the right side. And that'll hop on the concourse here and hop back into the screen. Young man sees control of that and will give it to one of the Wildcats players to put it back in play. 1-2 the count now to Will Sims. No, excuse me, Payson Edwards. That pitch outside. 2-2 the count. And Stacey with the 2-2 pitch on the way and call strike 3. Boy, that was out there on the outside, but umpires are liking them out there tonight. So Wildcats go up and down in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. So we played 2 complete now from Wildcat Park. Royse City 2 and the Wildcats 0. It's the top of the 3rd inning, for Payson Edwards. And Royse City will have hitters 2, 3, and 4 coming up. There'll be Blake Anderson, Jonathan Burton, and Cade Hitt scheduled to hit for Royse City here in the top of the 3rd. Royse City 2 runs, 4 hits, and error. The Wildcats no runs, no hits, no errors. So far, these Royse City pitchers have been awfully tough on the Wildcats. They have not allowed them a run through a game and 2 innings here. Here's Blake Anderson. And the pitch to Blake Anderson, he hits the ball high into the air. It's a mile high. Jace Thompson backing up and makes the catch. Oh, he just almost handcuffed him. But Jace able to hang on to that high popper up there that must have been, had quite a bit of English on it, but catch made. I believe that changed. And designated hitter Logan Maxey now hitting. So this looks like a change here in designated hitter. Maybe coach just couldn't decide. I'll let both the guys share that position. There's a call strike to Maxey. Now obviously, Royse City coach having some differences, different ideas after he made out his lineup card. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Logan Maxey. I'm pretty sure Jonathan Burton hit the first time. Here's a pitch that swung on and hit hard out to left field. 1 hop out there for a base hit right in front of Connor Bergen. And another Royse City base hit. That's their 5th of the ball game. They are really seeing that ball well and really hitting it well. Their 5th hit of the ball game. And here's Cade Hitt. He started everything in the 2nd inning with a single, came around to score. Edwards pitch on the way, that's outside. Ball 1 the count to Cade Hitt. From the stretch. And the pitch on the way is swung on, hit foul off to the left side. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Royse City first baseman. And again, Logan Maxey running down at first after he hit the ball real hard out to left field for a base hit. And the 1-1 pitch on the way, and that's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Hitt. In the 4-hole hitter for Royse City, that cleanup position. Always looking for a big bat in there. And the 2-1 pitch, and 3-1 the count now to Cade Hitt. And the 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss. The count goes full to Hitt. He took a big cut on that. Edwards, a real nice pitch that way to throw something up there that he had a hard time getting to. And the count goes full. And here's Edwards' 3-2 pitch, and that swung on and hit out toward left field. Or actually, shortstop's going to make the catch and just off the dirt and out into the grass from the shortstop position for out number 2. So 2 outs with a runner at first now, and here's Tyson Oliver, third baseman for the Royse City Bulldogs. Again, another nice sunset. Boy, that's a nice thing about doing games this time of year. They have that sun setting. Runner takes off for second base, a hit and run. It's blooped, and Jackson Cheney couldn't come up with it. He throws to first, not in time, and a hit on the infield that Jackson Cheney made a valiant effort to try to catch, but couldn't come up with it. Kind of belly flopped over there, and it just eluded him. So an infield base hit for Tyson Oliver, and on the play, Maxey scoots all the way to third base. So again, runners at the corners with 2 out, and here's Rowdy Chandler, the shortstop. He had an RBI single. And that was the second hit by Oliver. He's 2 for 2 on the ball game. Royse City already 6 hits in the ball game. And from the stretch. And the pitch on the way is swung on and hit in foul territory. And Cheney's over in foul territory and makes the catch. And the Wildcats get out of the inning without any run damage. No runs for Royse City. They added a couple of hits. No Wildcat errors. And 2 runners left on base. And we played 2.5 innings here from Wildcat Park. It's Royse City 2 and the Wildcats 0. This bottom of the 3rd inning, Wildcats will have hitters 8, 9, and 1 scheduled to hit here in the bottom of the 3rd with Royse City a 2-0 lead. For the Bulldogs, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. And the Wildcats, no runs, no hits, and no errors. Colson Hale will hit first. He's the scheduled hitter coming up there. Followed by the designated hitter Bryce McQueen, and the top of the order, Austin Dodd. And Colson Hale, the second baseman for the Wildcats. And Stacey's first pitch on the way is down too low and outside, ball 1 to Colson Hale. Wildcats have had a couple of walks in the ball game, a couple. And the next pitch to Hale is swung on and hit out into left center field. The center fielder's over and makes a one-handed catch out there for out number 1. From the old school, I learned that 2 hands while you're learning, and I never did get past the learning stage. Always caught everything 2-handed, but I realize modern baseball players do a lot of that catching with 1 hand. And now the pitch to Bryce McQueen is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Bryce, the designated hitter tonight. Only times that we've seen him play, he's been kind of a pinch runner. The 0-1 pitch misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. And boy, a loud clash of something. I hope everybody's okay out there. And the 1-1 pitch swung on, and that looks like a base hit. It's in there for a base hit. 1 hop to the left fielder. A nice solid single, breaking up the no-hitter for Bryce McQueen. So a 1-out single for McQueen, and here's Austin Dodd. Dodd walked in the first inning. He moved to second on a ground out and moved to third on a ball that was thrown into center field by the Royse City pitcher. And he just stayed put there at third base, never did come in to score. And the first pitch, what I'd call the old ephus pitch, kind of the bloop pitch in there. But that one missed, ball 1. That's a little bit high according to the umpire. Stacey from the stretch, and the pitch on the way, and that's inside, misses. 2-0 the count. Bryce McQueen running at first for the Wildcats. And Stacey from the stretch, and the pitch on the way, and that's a call strike. Yeah, put it on that outside part of the plate. That umpire has really liked that pitch out there today. And he's, you know, as long as it's consistent, as long as that's always a strike, then you better go out there and get it. And the 2-1 pitch, runner takes off. Here's the throw to second base, and McQueen just got in ahead of the tag at second with a stolen base. Pitch missed to Austin Dodd. He's now ahead in the count, 3-1. A good, solid stolen base there by Bryce McQueen. Stacey from the stretch, and here's the 3-1 pitch. That's right in there, right down the middle of Highway 19. And 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Austin Dodd back in there to hit. And Stacey works the 3-2 pitch high and outside, and for the second time in the ball game, Austin Dodd has worked the walk. Runners at second and first. The tying runs are on the bases, and here's Argenbright. Argy hit a nubber down the first baseline. It would be about a perfect place to put a bunt, and it's kind of served as that purpose, but he will not get credit. A full swing, he will not get credit for a sacrifice. So he's 0 for 1. Here's a pitch to Argenbright, inside, ball 1. Wildcats may have something going here. They got their first hit in the ball game, and Austin Dodd works a walk. There's one out in the inning. And Stacey's 1-0 pitch. That's right in there. That ball kind of backed up a little bit, and well, it would back up for a right-handed hitter. Actually, from Argenbright, it broke away from him and right over across the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike from Stacey. And the 1-1 pitch inside. Again, Stacey really doesn't mind working inside to these Wildcat hitters, as he's buzzed that ball inside several times. That was one of those slow pitches. You probably wouldn't mind being hit by that. Here's a 2-1 pitch, and that buzzed inside. That was a little bit more juice on that one, but again, Argenbright just let it go by. I guess he could tell it was not going to hit him. And the count 3-1 now to Argenbright. Neither runner being held on. And that pitch, that's a strike on that inside part of the plate. That way he got it. He'd been pitching inside. He moved that one over just enough to catch that strike zone. And Argenbright now with a full count. 1 out, runners at second and first. Wildcats trailing 2-0. And the pitch to Argenbright is swung on and hit out to center field. Center field has it measured out there. Hendricks makes the catch. A tag up, but the runner drew the throw, but that was it. And McQueen, it would have been real interesting. He looked like he left a little bit early, but he did not advance, so there's no harm, no foul. So that's the second out in the inning on the fly ball out to center field. That'll leave it up to Jackson Cheney, perhaps. Cheney walked in the first inning, so no official at bat. Runners at second and first, 2 outs, and here is Jackson Cheney against Seth Stacey. And this pitch is going to miss. Perhaps a little bit high. Ball 1, the count. Pretty close to the plate, it was that one. And here is the 1-0 pitch. And it's swung on and hit well to left field by Cheney. It's in there for a base hit. McQueen is coming around the base. The throw comes in. It'll be cut off, and the Wildcats have a run on an RBI single by Jackson Cheney. Put the Wildcats on the board. On the play, Austin Dodd moved down to second, held on there, but good base running by Bryce McQueen as he cruised around third, came on in to score. And the Wildcats trail now 2-1, and here's Jace Thompson. He hit the ball to shortstop near the second base bag, a double play in the first inning. Then he swings and hits the ball, bloops out towards second base. The second baseman back and makes the catch as he backpedals into the outfield. And so that's going to do it for the Wildcats, but they do get on the scoreboard as they got 1 run. And the Wildcats had 2 hits, no Royse City errors, and the Wildcats left a couple of runners on base. They've left 3 through 3 innings. So we've played 3 complete innings now. Our new score here from Wildcat Park, Royse City 2 and the Wildcats 1. And leading off here in the top of the 4th inning is Drake Warner against Payson Edwards, now working his 4th inning. Pitch count appears to be 49 pitches. That's good. And the first pitch misses for ball 1 to Warner. Warner hit a double his first time up. It was an RBI double. Drove in that second Royse City run. And the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss by Warner. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. And Payson Edwards now with a 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball missed inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, Royse City, 2 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. The Wildcats, 1 run and 2 hits, no errors. Edwards' next pitch swung on, and it's hit well out to right field. Harrison, it's over his head. He's chasing it back, and Warner will move into second base with his second double and in 2 at-bats. Hit that one over the right fielder's head. And that'll bring up Landon Cagle for Royse City. And once again, Bowling comes in to run for the catcher, Warner. Jacob Bowling, he did that also back in the second inning. We play here in the top of the 4th, so Royse City's stirring the pot again early here in the top of the 4th. Pitch on the way, breaking ball, misses outside, ball 1. And a 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on, hit back to Edwards on a couple of hops. He turns, he throws to third, and the tag is in time. So Edwards alertly gets Bowling trying to advance to third base. And so Cagle is on the fielder's choice. Not sure where Doug is taken off to. But I guess we're on autopilot. Hopefully they'll keep the ball kind of right in front of us here. Here's a pitch on the way, swung on and bloop foul. Jackson Cheney really churning after that one, but could not catch up to the foul ball hit by Grayson Williams. And that is strike number 1. And Payson Edwards now from the stretch. And the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball up too high. 2-0 the count. And Edwards from the stretch, that runner leads off first. And the 1-1 pitch, that swung on, hit foul back into the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cagle. Or excuse me, this is Grayson Williams. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 9-hole hitter for Royse City. That's Cagle on at first. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That's up too high. And 2-2 the count now. With our Royse City second baseman. Boy, already 7 hits for the Bulldogs in this one. And the 2-2 pitch, a strikeout, throw to first. Not in time down there. And so strikeout at home plate on Grayson Williams. So that's out number 2. And that'll bring up the top of the order now, and this will be Josh Hendricks. Hendricks struck out in the first and flied to center, so he is 0 for 2 in the ball game. And Payson Edwards from the stretch. And the pitch on the way, and that looked like it dropped right in there, but the umpire said too high, so ball 1, not to his liking. 1-0 the count now to Hendricks. And Payson Edwards, a 1-0 pitch, and that ball is well struck to right center field, and that's deep there, and it's going to hit up against the wall. The runner coming around third to score. Hendricks is into second, and an RBI double for Royse City, and they are now ahead 3-1. Boy, they've hit the ball tonight. That's their 8th hit in the ball game as we play here in the 4th inning. And coming around from first base all the way to score, Landon Cagle. That was hit at probably just about the deepest part of this ballpark, or one of the deepest. There is really a lot of real estate to cover out there in that right center field. And that will bring up Blake Anderson, the left fielder. And Edwards looking in with that runner, Hendricks, down at second. There are 2 outs in the inning. And Edwards' pitch on the way, and that's in there for a call strike. This is a 2-hole hitter for Royse City. He popped to the shortstop and then hit the ball, a fly ball out to center field. So 0 for 2 for Blake Anderson. And Edwards, 0-1 pitch, single right up the middle. Austin Dodd picks it up. He's going to throw to the plate. Here comes a runner. It's cut off. Now a throw down to second, not in time. And Royse City has got a 4th run here as if they just continue to really hit the ball. So an RBI single by Blake Anderson, and he advances to second on the throw to the plate as Hendricks comes in to score. So another 2-run inning for Royse City. And Coach Jared Hammock out to consider his options here. Payson Edwards looked like he was already heading to the dugout, but it looks like Jackson Cheney is asking for a different glove, so I think Jackson Cheney's going to come in to pitch here. Well, no, that's not right. Let's see who this is. So we have a pitching change here. We'll tell you about it. Let's take a break, and we'll tell you about the pitching change right after this break. Royse City leading 4-1, and they already have 9 hits in the ball game. Wow, they have really hit the ball. They've had another 3 hits in this inning, and they're hitting a lot of doubles. They were really rocking that ball. So now pitching Will Sims. Maybe they moved Payson down to, I think they've got Payson Edwards now playing third base, so they've made a straight switch. A pitch from Sims outside for ball 1 to Logan Maxey. Maxey, the designated hitter. And the 1-0 pitch, a swung on, hit foul right at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. And 2 outs in the inning. So Edwards went 3 2/3. There's a breaking ball. Boy, that was a beauty by Sims. And 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Logan Maxey, the designated hitter. He singled his last time up. He's 1 for 1. And that pitch misses, and the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes to the designated hitter. I'm pretty sure Jonathan Burton hit in the first time up. And there's a breaking ball. That swung on, hit foul back in the screen. The runner was taking off at second. That was Anderson. He'll have to return. And the count 2-2. And Sims from the stretch, and the pitch is swung on. There's a base hit out to right field. No, the ball is caught out there. No, hold on, everything. Wait, that ball did land. Yeah, he caught it on one hop out there. So my mistake. But it's another hit. They did hold the runner at third base as Harrison was ready to come up. He has a very good arm, and he's ready to come up throwing. So runners at the corners now as Royse City gets their 10th hit in the ball game. They just continue to hammer the ball, and they have had another string going here, 3 hits in a row. And here's Cade hit. He's 1 for 2. That pitch misses outside, ball 1. Hit, singled, and scored in the second. He led off the inning, and then he popped a short, so he is 1 out of 2. And Royse City leading 4-1 in the ball game. Sims from the stretch. And the 1-0 pitch swung on, drilled up the middle, base hit to center field. So runners at first and second. Maxey moves into second base, and Cade Hitt has his second hit of the ball game. That's hit number 11. And on that hit, that was also an RBI hit because Blake Anderson came in to score the 5th Royse City run. So now a 5-1 ball game. Pitch on the way, that missed outside to Tyson Oliver, ball 1. Oliver is 2 for 2 in the ball game. He also stole a base. And the pitch to Oliver, breaking ball, misses outside, and 2-0 the count. Well, Royse City, once they got 2 outs, they've had 4 hits in a row and have plated a couple of runs. So Edwards will be charged with 5 runs now as that runner, he inherited runner, comes in to score. A 2-0 pitch, that misses, a 3-0 the count now to Tyson Oliver. Sims from the stretch, and now Oliver steps out. Umpire gives him timeout. And Sims from the stretch, and the pitch on the way, missed outside, and the bases are loaded. Oliver at first, Hitt moves to second, and Maxey to third. And here's Rowdy Chandler. And he had an RBI single in the second and hit a foul pop fly down the first baseway that was caught by Jackson Cheney. And he's now talking to his head coach down there, Clay Wolf. Had a long conversation with him. Very nice man. Been at Royse City, I think, about 13 years, I believe that's what he said. And before that was at Community for a while, Commerce, and spent 1 year at Rockwall. Said he really liked it there, but changes took place. And, well, the Royse City job came up. There's a breaking ball, a called strike to Rowdy Chandler. Again, 1 for 2. Clay Wolf, a good friend of Kurt McCain. They coached together at Nevada Community. There's the 0-1 pitch. Call strike. So Chandler down in the count, 0-2. Bases full of Bulldogs who let the dogs out. They're all over the bases here. And the 0-2 pitch. Swung on and hit to the shortstop, Jace Thompson. He will touch second base, and that will do it. The Royse City Bulldogs bat around and have another real quick inning. Have another really good inning, and they will score 3 runs, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits in the inning. No Wildcat errors, and Royse City will leave a couple of runners on base. Actually, they'll leave a couple of runners on base. So our score after 3.5 innings of play now, the Royse City Bulldogs 5 and the Wildcats 1. Well, the Wildcats have a lot of digging to do here to try to get out of a hole that they've fallen into here, as Royse City has a 5-1 lead as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Royse City tearing the cover off the ball tonight, just hitting everything thrown up there. 5 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error for the Bulldogs, and the Wildcats 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. Cameron Harrison, the hitter. He is 0 for 1, grounded that ball down the first baseline. The first baseman had a hard time coming up with it, and it sure did look like Harrison won the race to the bag against that slower first baseman, but umpire said the first baseman got there first, so Harrison is 0 for 1, grounding out to the first baseman. And Stacey's first pitch on the way and outside for ball 1. Cameron Harrison. Well, the Wildcats need a barrage of hits here. They have not been able to put much together. And Harrison swings and hits it down to the first baseman. This time he'll win the race to the bag. And that's out number 1. That'll bring up Will Sims. He hit a fly out to right field. Wildcats just hitting into kind of routine outs tonight. They've not scalded the ball much at all. 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 4th. And Sims to hit with Payson Edwards on deck for the Wildcats. And the pitch on the way swung on, hit foul down the third base way between Coach Jared Hammock and the Royse City bullpen. Strike 1 on Will Sims. And the 0-1 pitch, a breaking ball, is swung on and hit out into left center field, and it's going to be caught by the center fielder out there. Kind of an athletic-looking catch there by the center fielder, Josh Hendricks. So 2 up and 2 out, and here's Payson Edwards. He struck out in the second, so Payson 0 for 1. Boy, just I guess these black uniforms or something have just got the Wildcats number this year. And Stacey's pitch on the way swung on, hit foul back to the base of the screen for strike 1 to Payson Edwards. Wildcats have a single from Jackson Cheney and also from Bryce McQueen. They put those together for a run. Here's a ball hit to the second baseman on a couple of hops. Throw to first. Oh, a wild throw to first. And Edwards takes off for second base. The throw to second and almost went out into the outfield. So Payson Edwards is on the error. It looked like a routine hopper, but the second baseman uncorked a wild throw there from Grayson Williams. So a 2-out error. Let's see if that opens the door to anything for the Wildcats. Here's Colson Hale. He had a fly ball to center field, so he's 0 for 1 in the contest. And from the stretch. And the 0-1 pitch, and that is blocked in the dirt nicely there. That's a couple of blocks that we've seen from Drake Warner catching behind the plate for the Bulldogs. And 1-0 the count out of Colson Hale. Payson Edwards leading off second. 1-0 pitch to Hale. Ooh, swing and a miss. Boy, Colson is not cheated. He goes up there and takes mighty cuts. Trying to hit that ball real hard for the Wildcats. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Stacey from the stretch. He looks back to second base. And the 1-1 pitch, breaking ball on the inside part of the plate, or actually misses inside, 2-1 the count. Colson Hale given timeout. Now he's back ready to hit. And Stacey looks to second and delivers the 2-1 pitch, and that another good block by Warner, getting down and smothering that ball. 3-1 the count now to Hale, with Bryce McQueen on deck. Wildcats hit here in the bottom of the 4th, and they trail 5-1. They've been out hit 11-2. And the pitch to Hale up too high, and Colson Hale works the walk. So an error and a walk. And the Wildcats have a couple of base runners with 2 outs, and here's Bryce McQueen. He had a solid single to left field, probably hit the ball as well as anybody in this ball game. And Royse City coach coming out to talk with his pitcher. He may think that the Wildcats are getting ready to bust loose here and just have a talk with Stacey and the rest of his Royse City Bulldogs there. Stacey pitching in his 4th inning. Pitch count appears to be about 58. And the conversation's over. Perhaps just wanted to deliver a message to the pitcher. Something along the lines of throw strikes. Don't be walking them. Got this nice lead here. So runners at second and first for the Wildcats. Payson Edwards at second and Colson Hale at first. And here is Bryce McQueen. He again 1 for 1, singled and stole a base and scored a run. And Stacey's pitch to McQueen just off the plate for ball 1. That's kind of in that area that we've seen the umpire like those pitches tonight. But he wasn't liking that one. And from the stretch. And the 1-0 pitch, and that misses outside. 2-0 the count. And Bryce McQueen back in the batter's box. Stacey from the stretch. And the 2-0 pitch. That missed outside, 3-0 the count. So all of a sudden, Stacey was very wild to open the ball game. He walked a couple in that 1st inning, but escaped on a very timely double play by the Bulldogs. And he's been hard to hit since. Here's a 3-0 pitch, and that's outside, a 4-pitch walk to Bryce McQueen, and the Wildcats have got him loaded up. And Austin Dodd, the hitter, with the bases loaded here. Edwards at third, Colson Hale at second, and Bryce McQueen running at first. Bases full of the Wildcats now. Austin Dodd has not had an official at bat in this ball game, as he has walked twice. And here's the windup and the pitch on the way, and that's outside to Austin Dodd. Looks like he's only thrown Dodd about 2 strikes, and this is his 3rd at bat. He actually had 2 strikes on Dodd in that 3rd inning, and he walked him on 4 pitches in the 1st. 1-0 pitch. That's down too low, 2-0 the count. Nowhere to put him, as we used to say in the Little League. Bases full. And Stacey with the 2-0 pitch to Austin Dodd. That's right down in there for a call strike. Right down the middle of Main Street. 2-1 the count. And Stacey ready to pitch. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It swung on, hit foul down the right side. Went right over the head of Bruce Silman coaching down at first base. Jared Hammock down at third. Jared would like to limber up that right arm and wheel those runners toward the plate. I guess that's that left arm he used. He had to use the left arm there to send those runners toward home. Windmill them home, coach. And the 2-2 pitch to Austin Dodd. Breaking ball swung on and hit toward the hole, and it's fielded by the shortstop, and he has no play, and the Wildcats score their 2nd run. An infield hit by Austin Dodd. That was a seeing eye single. You couldn't have placed that any better. And on the play, coming in to score, Payson Edwards. All of these runs will be unearned. I say all of these I'm anticipating, because of that error that should have been the last out of the inning, thrown away on Payson Edwards. And here's Caden Argenbright. I don't know if Coach Hammock could order a better hitter up here with the bases loaded. And the pitch to Argy is swung on. Oh, he hit it right at the second baseman. It's fielded. This was a better throw, almost pulled the first baseman off, but the Wildcats will leave them loaded. They do score a run. They had 1 run. They collected only 1 hit in the inning. 1 big error by Royse City, and the Wildcats leave them loaded. By the way, I finally figured out the conflict in my brain, and Royse City also left 3 runners on base in the top of the inning. So the Wildcats get some of it back, but we've played 4 complete now here from Wildcat Park. Royse City 5 and the Wildcats 2. And Will Sims is warming up to work in his second inning. Faced a few batters, 1, 2, 3, 4 in that 4th inning to get out of that inning. And now we'll face a real tough hitter tonight, the catcher for Royse City, Drake Warner. He's had 2 doubles and RBI. Well, he's really seeing the ball well. So Drake Warner, also, as I mentioned, RBI and two doubles. And Sims the pitch, a breaking ball in there for a call strike. Nice strike there by Will Sims. Dropped a breaking ball in there. And the 0-1 pitch, that's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1 pitch misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Drake Warner. Bulldogs 5 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors. Wildcats 2 runs and 3 hits. And Sims with a 2-1 pitch, and that swung on and hit out toward left field. Shortstop going back, and Jace Thompson makes the catch in very shallow left field, just off the dirt.
Right fielder, Landon Cagle.
So 1 up and 1 out, and here's Landon Cagle. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning and then was on a fielder's choice, came around to score for the Bulldogs. So he's officially 0 for 1. Pitch from Sims. Ooh, buzzed him inside. Had to get his head out of the way there. 0-1 the count. Already been hit once. Don't want to get head up high like that. 1-0 pitch. Oh, that went right over his head. He ducked down. So Sims trying to reclaim the inside part of the plate, and so far he's had that batter ducking away on a couple of pitches. Here's a 2-0 pitch, swung on and hit, stabbed there by Payson Edwards, and he fires to first base for out number 2. Good stab over there by Payson and a good throw to first. 2 up and 2 out. The Bulldogs did go up and down in order in the first, and since then they've just been tearing the cover off the ball. 4 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits, and 5 hits. Now they're 2 up and 2 down, and here's Grayson Williams. Fly to left, struck out. Breaking ball by Sims. He kind of started that at the batter's head, and it broke over the plate, but was too high. And 1-0 the count to Grayson Williams, the second baseman. And that pitch swung on and missed. Williams waved at it, and he's 1 ball and 1 strike now. Hits with 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the 5th inning. And Sims, buzzed that in there, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sims showing some good velocity on that. Sims took the loss in Royse City, but he didn't throw all that poorly. Breaking ball, strike 3, and that's going to do it. 3 up and 3 down for the Bulldogs, the second time in the ball game, but for the 3 times in between, they've been salty. And no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. And we have played 4.5 innings now from Wildcat Park. It's Royse City 5 and the Wildcats 2. And Sacy, the pitcher for Royse City, comes out ready to work his 5th inning. His pitch count's up, that looks like maybe 68.
First baseman, Jackson Cheney.
Have a hard time with the eye test with that scoreboard, those lights. The Wildcats will have Jackson Cheney, Jace Thompson, and Cameron Harrison scheduled to hit here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Wildcats are trailing 5-2. Cheney walked and also had an RBI single, so he's a perfect 1 for 1. And Sacy held on to that pitch too long. It bounced before coming into the catcher and went right by the catcher. So 1-0 the count to Jackson Cheney. Leading off for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Cheney swings and hits a high pop-up behind home plate. The catcher coming back, trying to track it down, and he let it fall. So just a big old strike on Jackson Cheney. And so 1 ball and 1 strike. So Cheney has another shot. He had popped that ball up, and probably 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, that ball would be caught. And Stacey's 1-1 pitch, just off the plate, 2-1 the count. Some of the Royse City faithful wanted that one, but did not get it. Here's Stacey's 2-1 pitch, and it's swung on by Cheney and hit to center field. The center fielder coming in and makes the catch out there for out number 1.
The shortstop, Jace Thompson.
Just the Wildcats just not getting solid contact on this little right-hander. 1 up and 1 out, and there's Jace Thompson. He hit into a double play in the first and hit a popper to the second baseman, so he is 0 for 2. And Jace tries to get the Wildcats going here, and the pitch on the way is swung by Thompson. He hits a foul over first base way. First baseman coming over. Oh, he just tried to reach over that little fence leading into the Wildcats dugout. He just couldn't reach far enough, as that was first baseman Cade hit. And so Thompson has a foul ball that just didn't get caught. Close. And the 0-1 pitch misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jace Thompson. Wildcats only 3 hits tonight as we play here in the bottom of the 5th. Had a hard time with this Royse City staff. And the 1-1 pitch. That swung on, hit out right field way. The right fielder is coming over, but it's going to be off the line and down into the corner for a foul ball. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jace Thompson. Spraying the ball all over the park here. And Stacey ready to work, and the 1-2 pitch. And that swung on, a hot shot back up the middle. Jace Thompson got all of that one. And he buzzed the pitcher that time, went buzzing by him on out into center field. Solid single for Jace Thompson. That's hit number 4 for the Wildcats. A 1-out single, and that'll bring up Cameron Harrison. He has found the first baseman a couple of times in this ball game. And the stretch by Stacey. And Harrison swings and hits a blooper out into left center field. It's in there for a base hit and got by the left fielder. And runners moving to second and third. And Coach Hammock will hold that runner. Throw. The ball was thrown all the way into home plate. And so Cameron Harrison with a good solid base hit, and it eluded the left fielder. You can't very well call an error. It looked like it just took a crazy hop and got by him out there. So runners at third and second with 1 out, and Will Sims, the hitter, and Stacey may have thrown his last pitch there, as the Wildcats bring the tying run to home plate in the person of Will Sims. Yes, and that will be it for Stacey. And Royse City fans giving him a nice ovation as he comes off the field. We have a pitching change here, and we'll tell you about it right after this break. Well, now pitching for Royse City is going to be Cole Stewart. So Stewart, the second pitcher. He's got a sidearm, that underarm kind of stuff. Comes from the side. A little sidearm pitcher. Submariner kind of like. Yeah, brings that ball around from the side. See that occasionally.
Now pitching for the Bulldogs, number 9, Cole Stewart.
So Stewart in there to pitch, as the Wildcats got something going here. Have runners at second and third. They've had a couple of singles. Jace Thompson's was really well hit and blistered back up the middle. Harrison's was just a blooper well placed out into left center field. Must have had some fantastic English on it or something. It spun away from the left fielder, and the Wildcats picked up an extra base. Well, I guess you'd have to really score that a double if there's no error, so we have to give Harrison a double. Here's Will Sims now. He's the tying run for the Wildcats. One out, runners at third and second. And before the pitcher has thrown here, before Stewart throws, trotting out is Blake Warner. And they'll have a conversation about some matter I'm sure that Warner thought was very important to talk to his starting pitcher. They've had something to do with signals with that Wildcat camped at second base. Figured he could probably read those. And now Stewart ready to work, and his sidearm pitch poured right in there for a call strike to Will Sims. And Stewart ready to work out there, and here's the 0-1 pitch. Swung on by Sims, hit back up the middle. The second baseman's got it near the bag. The throw is low to first, but dug out there by the first baseman. Cade hit on the play. The Wildcats score their third run of the ball game, as Jace Thompson comes in to score, and Harrison scoots down to third. But Royse City picked up the second out of the inning. And here's Payson Edwards. He struck out in the second on an error in the fourth, and he came around to score a run in this 5-3 ball game now. And again, Harrison just 90 feet away from plating a run for the Wildcats. And Payson Edwards in the batter's box. And Cole Stewart pitch, swing and a miss. Again, Payson looking at that sidearm action. It looked like he was trying to hit and bail out at the same time, and couldn't reach that one for strike one. And the 0-1 pitch from Cole Stewart, and he brought that one inside. It broke, but not enough to get it over the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. May have sensed that Edwards was kind of bailing, so he gave him more reason to with bringing that ball inside. And the 1-1 pitch, that's poured right in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Payson Edwards. And again, he represents the tying run for the Wildcats in this ball game. They trail 5-3. They've been massively out-hit 11-5, but here they are right in the contest. Need a timely hit or two. Here's a 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And Stewart, boy, with that tough sidearm stuff, retires both batters he faces. But the Wildcats do come up with a run, and they had a couple of hits. No Royse City errors, and the Wildcats will leave 1. So we've played 5 complete innings now. A new score here after 5. The Royse City Bulldogs 5, and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs 3. And moving along into the top of the 6th inning now, and it'll be the top of the Royse City batting order coming up. Josh Hendricks, and he has hit in 3 trips. He struck out in the first, flied to center in the second, and then hit a RBI double in the 4th inning and came around to score. As Royse City leads 5-3 as we play here in the top of the 6th inning. And Will Sims first pitch, and bunted foul for strike 1 on Hendricks, who appeared to be bunting for a base hit on that. Obviously no reason to sacrifice, so that's exactly what he was doing. Once I analyzed that sentence, it became crystal clear. You don't want to sacrifice yourself for no reason. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's swung on and looped out toward left field, and it's in there for a base hit. Boy, Jace Thompson giving it everything he got that he's got there, and he chased that ball out to shallow left field, made a dive, but couldn't come up with it. So a solid base hit, or kind of a really kind of a duck snort out there, or a base hit for Josh Hendricks. That's his second hit. And here's Blake Anderson, popped to short, flied to center, and had an RBI single in the fourth, so he is 1 out of 3. Hendricks leads off first, and Sims with a throw over there. And Hendricks back in time. And again, Sims checks that runner. He's not taking a particularly big lead, and Sims breaking ball in there for a call strike. Nice pitch to Blake Anderson. He's a left fielder for the Bulldogs. And the stretch, throw to first. And once again, Hendricks back in there. Again, he's not leading off all that much. He now comes off that base. Again, a modest lead over there. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and off the plate, just missed on the outside part. 1 ball and 1 strike. Royse City 5, the Wildcats 3 here in the top of the 6th. Wildcats just a couple more shots at them, but they got to shut them down first. The 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1 the count. And Sims from the stretch. And the 2-1 pitch is swung on and hit toward Colson Hale at second. Over to the shortstop for 1. Throw to first and out. A double play for the Wildcats. Went from Colson Hale. He shoveled it over to Jace Thompson, and Thompson fired to Jackson Cheney at first. And the Wildcats complete the double play. So 2 up and 2 out now, and that'll bring up Logan Maxey. And he is 2 for 2. And the pitch to Maxey outside for ball 1. Both teams have turned the double play tonight. And Will Sims with a 1-0 pitch. That swung on and hit down to third base to Payson Edwards. Oh, a high throw uncorked at first base. Looked like it ended up perhaps in the Wildcat dugout, and that'll automatically send the runner down to second. Took kind of a crazy hop on Payson, but it came right into him. He handled that hop, but just uncorked a really wild throw. Well, a 2-out error, and that'll bring up Cade Hitt, who has 2 hits. Singled and scored in the second, popped to short, and had an RBI single in the fourth. Left-handed hitter. 1-0 pitch. Call strike on the outside part of the plate from Will Sims. Sims in his 3rd inning of work. And he's gone through the order and then some. That pitch missed. 1-1 the count. Yeah, Maxey was the first hitter he had faced, so this is the second batter that he's faced twice. Sims looks back at second. This pitch swung on, hit foul, back out of play. Actually, it was cued off and right out in front of the Royse City dugout, but Payson Edwards gave chase, but couldn't get there nearly in time. You never want to give up on a foul ball in this park. You've got enormous foul territory. Coach Clay Wolf said, "This place is huge." And the 1-2 pitch. It swung on and popped up down third base way. Payson Edwards over in foul territory and makes the catch. Boy, every pop flying adventure here. And Payson Edwards with the catch, and the Wildcats get out of the inning. No runs, a 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 Royse City player left on base. So we've played 5.5 here from Wildcat Park. It's Royse City 5 and the Wildcats 3. It's the bottom of the 6th inning. Wildcats will have Colson Hale, Bryce McQueen, and Austin Dodd scheduled to hit as we play here in the bottom of the 6th. And again, Royse City with a 5-3 lead. But the Wildcats have scored single runs in the last 3 innings. Despite having only 5 hits, they've been able to kind of cluster everything together with some other stuff and managed to stay in the ball game despite being out hit 12-5. Here's Colson Hale. He flied to center and walked. Officially 0 for 1. As he'll try this left-hander now, this Cole Stewart. Got some nasty looking stuff. And the pitch from Stewart, a sidearm pitch, is inside for ball 1. Colson Hale. A starter all night long at second base. Stewart is kind of taking his time out there. And the 1-0 pitch, breaking ball, that broke not enough, 2-0 the count. Boy, he's tough on right-handers dropping down from that side. And Stewart with a 2-0 pitch. That came in too high. It was over the plate but too high. And 3-0 the count now to Colson Hale. And the 3-0 pitch. Missed outside. 4-pitch walk now to Colson Hale. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate for the Wildcats here quickly here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bryce McQueen is 1 for 1 in the ball game. He singled and scored. Singled and stole a base and scored in the 3rd inning, and then he walked in the 4th. So officially 1 for 1. Has one of those Wildcats 5 hits tonight. Hale leading off first. And the pitch from Stewart is up too high for ball 1. Stewart having a hard time finding the strike zone here in the bottom of the 6th. Hale with a modest lead off first. And the pitch on the way is hit off the fist right out to the second baseman. Oh, Hale got off the bag too much. But the throw was wild at first. I think a good throw would have gotten him, but it's a wild throw. And but it hit off the front of that guard that guards that Wildcat dugout. And so did not go into the dugout. So we'll just go down as a single pop-up to the second baseman for out number 1. Hale charmed life there. If he was a cat, he would have lost one there. 1 out with a runner at first base, and here's Austin Dodd. He is officially 1 for 1. Walked in the 1st, walked in the 3rd, and had an RBI single in the 4th. Throw to first, not in time, as Colson Hale gets back in. And Cole Stewart looks at first base from the stretch. Again, not a big lead, and the pitch on the way, a breaking ball, is in there for a call strike. They threw it into right field, and Hale will now pick himself up and head to right, and it got away from the right fielder, but Hale was sliding and did not see that, or he might have decided to go to 3rd. That was a throwing error there by the catcher. Well, Royse City has hurt themselves with the defense a little bit. They've had 4 errors. That's one reason the Wildcats, without as many hits, has been able to kind of hang around in this ball game, because Royse City has made some errors that have allowed the Wildcats to score a couple of unearned runs. Runner at second with 1 out, and 0-1 the count to Austin Dodd. And Stewart's 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Dodd, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Now, he has not seen many strikes tonight, but now all of a sudden he is in an 0-2 hole, having walked twice, and then he singled on a 2-1 pitch. Cole Stewart from the stretch, looking at Colson Hale at second, leading off there. And the 0-2 pitch bounced down into the catcher. Another good smothering stop by Blake Warner. And 1 ball and 2 strikes. from the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And Austin Dodd is the second out in the inning with a strikeout. That'll bring up Caden Argenbright, and he has had an 0 for 3 night tonight. Hit a little nubber that the catcher got out on and threw him out at first. Flied to center and then grounded to second. Well, he is more than due here, Argenbright. And again, he is the tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. Wildcats trail 5-3. And Stewart's pitch on the way. That was inside. Too much inside for ball 1 to Argy. And Jackson Cheney in the on-deck area if he gets a chance to hit here in the bottom of the 6th. There are 2 outs with Colson Hale on at second. And the 1-0 pitch to Argenbright. Swung on and hit back in the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. As we play here in the bottom of the 6th, the Wildcats have just trailed from the get-go tonight. They fell behind 2-0 just right away, made it 2-1, and then it went up to 5-1. Wildcats have chipped away to 5-2 and 5-3. Pitch to Argenbright, over but low, 2-1 the count to Caden Argenbright. They're playing him slightly to pull. Pretty shallow in left field. And Stewart turns and fires the ball to second base, and just getting back in there, Colson Hale. As the shortstop came in from behind. Hale sticking right on the bag right now as long as that pitcher's looking at him. Then he kind of creeps off there. Bounces off to a pretty good lead. Watch that shortstop, Colson. Here's a 2-1 pitch and a call strike on Argenbright. Either that or the umpire ruled that he went too far on the swing. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. And the 2-2 pitch, that swung on and hit behind home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 out. Argenbright steps back in there. Approaching the 2-hour mark on the ball game. Still got about 10 minutes before that happens. Here is a 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball stayed outside. And the count goes full to Caden Argenbright. Hits from the left side, the Wildcats catcher. Also a really good utility infielder. Not telling where he'll be used in college, but I think they're considering a catcher for him. 3-2 pitch. Swung on by Argenbright and hit out into left center field. Center fielder is over, and the left fielder actually makes a catch. And so the Wildcats have a bit of a threat going, but nothing comes of it. All they had was a base on balls. So no runs and no hits. No Royse City. Yes, there was, one Royse City error and 1 Wildcat runner left on base. Looks like the Wildcats have left about 8 runners on base. Quickly tallied that up. So we played 6 complete here from Wildcat Park. Royse City 5 and the Wildcats 3. Well, we move now into the top of the 7th inning with Royse City leading the Wildcats by the score of 5-3. And Will Sims trying to make his way through another inning. This is a part of, or all of 4 innings that he's been involved with in this game. Seemed like between him and Payson Edwards, they've pretty much had about the same amount of work here. And Tyson Oliver, the third baseman for Royse City, will lead off here. He's 2 for 2 with a walk. Single, stole the base and scored, singled, and then walked. And the pitch from Sims is inside for ball 1. Well, Oliver's had a good night with the bat. Most of these Royse City players have, as they've knocked out 12 hits tonight. The 1-0 pitch swung on and base hit out into right field. The hit parade continues for the Royse City Bulldogs as they get their 13th hit on the ball game.
The shortstop, Rowdy Chandler.
And so a solid base hit. Runner at first, nobody out. Here's Rowdy Chandler, the shortstop for the Bulldogs. He has 1 hit in the ball game, 1 out of 3. Chandler had an RBI single in the second and hit a pop into foul territory that was caught by the first baseman Jackson Cheney, and then he was on a fielder's choice, so he is 1 out of 3. Hits with nobody out, runner at first, looks to be sacrificing. Sims throws to first, not in time. Chandler taking a long look down there at his head coach down there in the third base box at Clay Wolf. Sims from the stretch, and the delivery, a nice pitch, broke right into the strike zone for strike number 1. 0-1 the count. And Rowdy Chandler steps back in. Short lead off first by Oliver. And the 0-1 pitch. That's in there. That caught the inside part of the plate as Sims came inside to this batter, and umpire said it was over the inside part of the plate. So 0-2 now the count on Rowdy Chandler. And now Sims throws to first. The runner back in again, Oliver. And the batter in the batter's box. And the 0-2 pitch, that's buzzed inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rowdy Chandler. He's back in the batter's box. Sims from the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch, good breaking ball. That hit foul down the first base way, and Cameron Harrison will come over into foul territory. Never gave up on that one, and Cameron chased that one down with his speed for out number 1. So 1 out with a runner at first, and here has been a tough batter tonight. Catcher Drake Warner doubled in the second RBI double, doubled in the fourth, and then popped to short in the fifth, so 2 out of 3. And he is bunting, and he bunts it down to Edwards at third. Edwards throws across, and safe at first base. So a nice bunt there as Wildcats had the infield back. And Warner just beat that hit out after bunting the ball. So Royse City with runners at second and first with 1 out. And here's Landon Cagle. He was hit by a pitch in the second. On a fielder's choice in the fourth, and he scored. And then grounded down to Payson Edwards at third. So he is 0 for 2 with that hit by pitch. And Sims delivers, and that's outside for ball 1. On the top of the 7th inning, Royse City leading 5-3. We had 14 hits, but they lead only 5-3. Here's a Sims 1-0 pitch. Buzzes that one inside, too much inside, 2-0 the count. Wildcats have an out in the inning, but Royse City with a couple of hits has runners second and first. And Sims 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Cagle, Landon Cagle. Boy, Royse City only 1 victory in the first half, or the first third of district play, but it's against these Wildcats. There's a pitch that Cagle couldn't keep from going around on, and went too far, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to the right fielder for the Bulldogs. And Cagle, the right-handed hitter, is back in the batter's box. And Sims, he turned and nobody was there at second base. He threw it into center field. It got away from Austin Dodd, and that will allow the runner to move over to third base. My goodness. Now that's weird. The pitcher you would think would get the error for throwing it into center field, but Austin Dodd had that player stymied. But when he kicked that ball around a little bit, and that allowed the runner to move on over to third. That's a bizarre ruling. That's something I talked to Coach Hammock about, but I would say if Dodd would have fielded that cleanly, the runner would have stayed because he was backing up second. Now runners at the corners with one out. And the 2-2 pitch, and the count goes full now to Landon Cagle. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Royse City trying to load the bases again here in the 7th inning. The Wildcats trying to hold them close, see if they can't rally in the bottom of the 7th. 3-2 pitch just missed, and the bases are full of Bulldogs again. Cagle at first. And Warner at second. And Oliver at third. And now Argenbright will trot out there, and we'll talk with his pitcher, Will Sims, as Grayson Williams is the hitter. And well, no, we've got a pinch hitter. Excuse me. This is Gavin Lynch. So Gavin Lynch, the hitter, as he will hit here with the bases loaded, rather than they bring up Grayson Williams at second, who flied to left and struck out twice. So they had him 0 for 3 tonight, and a little trouble making contact. So now they're going to bring Lynch in off the bench to hit with the bases loaded. Here's Sims' first pitch. It broke right in over the plate, but up too high for ball 1. Lynch back in the batter's box. Big moment in this ball game. The Wildcats want to shut them down here. And the 1-0 pitch. That broke right in there. Good pitch there by Will Sims, who's got good breaking stuff tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lynch. Wildcats are back on the infield. The 1-1 pitch. Call strike, hit the outside part of the plate. That pitch that the umpires liked all night long tonight. Kind of out there, but he's been calling that a strike all night long. You've got to respect him for that now, that you better go get that if you need it. Here's a 1-2 pitch. That just missed. That was up a little higher, kind of in that same area. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Lynch. Gavin Lynch. And the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball call, strike 3. Umpire rings him up, and that's out number 2. That'll bring up the tough top of the order here. A player that's 2 for 4. Josh Hendricks struck out in the first, flied to center, had an RBI double in the 4th and scored, and then a single in the 6th. So 2 out of 4 as he bats with the bases loaded, and 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. And the pitch on the way, and that missed down too low for ball 1. To Josh Hendricks. Will Sims trying to get out of this inning. The 1-0 pitch. Call, strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. And Josh Hendricks back in the batter's box. Again, starts out with an open stance and then goes to straight away after the pitch is delivered. That missed outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Bulldogs all over the bases with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. And Will Sims' 2-1 pitch. Swung on, lashed to second base. Oh, it went right through the second baseman out into right field. 1 run scores. Here comes the second run around, and he will score. Boy, a hot shot. Looked like it may have even taken a high hop. And a 2 RBI single for Hendricks, and that's going to build the lead up to 7-3. Boy, that makes it tough right there. As Royse City plates a couple of runs, and they have runners at first and second. And that'll bring up Blake Anderson. And Anderson is 1 for 4. And popped to short, flied to center, singled, an RBI single, and scored, and then hit into a double play. So He has had a hit on the night, but boy, 2 big insurance runs for Royse City, and they'll go into the bottom of the 7th with at least a 7-3 lead. Pitch from Sims outside, and 1-0 the count. 2-0, excuse me. 2-0 the count. Yeah, that makes the mountain a little bit higher to climb for the Wildcats. Royse City has 15 hits on the ball game. Pitch popped up on the infield, and Payson Edwards, he dropped the ball, and run will score. As I tell you, these pop-ups have been real difficult. They get up high in the air, and the breezy night here has really made pop-ups an adventure. So that will be another error on the Wildcats, and another costly error because the runner from first went all the way to third, and Cagle came all the way in to score another run, and Royse City with an 8-3 lead now. And that forces Sims to have to throw more pitches after he should have been out of the inning there. And here's Maxey. And he is 2 out of 3. Had 2 singles and then was on an error. And Sims now steps off, and Jackson Cheney comes trotting in from first base, and Argenbright from home plate. And now Colson Hale comes in from second base. So everybody, and Jace Thompson from shortstop. And now they wave in Payson Edwards from third base. Let's get everybody out there. And the home plate umpire is going out to break it up. And come on, guys. Let's move the game along here. Just past the 2-hour mark. They play here in the top of the 7th inning. And now here's Logan Maxey against Will Sims. And Sims with a breaking ball, missed, ball 1. As Royse City has put a 3 spot up there. They had a 3 spot back in the 4th inning. This one really hurts because it took a close 5-3 game, and it's now 8-3. Yeah, there's a throw to third, and on the play, the runner took off from first, and it's thrown into right center field. And Royse City will score 1 run, and the runner will hold at third base. Oh, my. They had tried to throw to third base, and that didn't work. And then the runner took off for second, and ball is thrown into right field, and another run scores. Ooh, hey. Runner all the way around to third. And Royse City now leads by 9-3. And Sims with the next pitch and swung on. Base hit to left field. A run will score. So Royse City just having a real big inning, as they have now scored 5 times and have doubled their score. And it's now a 10-3 ball game. And this is a Cade hit, swing and a miss. And once again, the Royse City Bulldogs have batted around here. And boy, the wheels have really fallen off for the Wildcats here in the top of the 7th. Pitch on the way inside. Coach Hammock will just be beside himself, I'm sure, when we talk to him in the morning. Can't imagine what he'd be like after the game. He'd probably be highly upset. Sims from the stretch. And the next pitch on the way. Poured it right in there. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Cade to hit. And again, he's got a couple of singles. He's 2 out of 4. And an RBI and a run scored. Royse City will be happy to see these numbers. Runner takes off. Argenbright throws to second base, and oh no, it went into center field. I thought he was going to have their base runner out, but the throw to second not held, and that's just a straight stolen base. There's no error on that, even though the ball went into center field, but just a stolen base. 2-2 the count now to Cade hit. And from the stretch, and the 2-2 pitch, a breaking ball outside, and the count goes full now to Cade hit. And if he continues the inning here, we'll actually more than bat around. We'll have somebody that's Oliver will have a chance to hit for the second time in the inning. Nightmarish inning for the Wildcats here in the top of the seventh. 3-2 pitch, swung on and hit out to left field. Connor Bergen coming over in foul territory and unable to make the catch out there. It looked like he had a good shot at it. The ball was in foul territory, so the count remains 3-2. We'll just do it all over. That happened in foul territory. And Cade hit, given new life up there. And Sims, the next pitch. That swung on and hit foul. Boy, Sims with 71 big whopping pitches in this ball game. And they have really mounted here in this inning. There's no telling. I did not mark what his pitch count was starting, but this has got to be in the variety of 30 to 35 pitches, I would think. And the 3-2 pitch swung on and hit well to right field. The right fielder, Harrison, going back, and it is up against the wall. A run will score, and Cade Hitt will head into second base with an RBI double. And Royse City has now scored 6 runs in the inning. What started out as a 5-3 game has now gone to 11-3 in this miserable inning. And I'll tell you right now, James Terry, it's going to take me a long time to add all this damage up. That's a little bit of everything in this inning. And this pitch misses as Tyson Oliver hitting for the second time in the inning. He singled way back when he started this mess and ended up coming around to score the 6th Royse City run. That pitch misses, 2-0 the count. Boy, Sims really laboring. This is what you call taking one for the team when you get out there and absorb all this to try to keep everybody else fresh. 2-0 pitch, swung on and grounded to Colson Hale at second. He's got it. Throw to first is in time. And that's finally going to do it for the Wildcats. But Royse City scores 6 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. And let's see if I can, 1, 2 errors. 3 errors. 3 errors in the inning. And Royse City left 1 runner left on base. So a huge inning for Royse City as they score a 6 spot. And we played 6.5 innings here at Wildcat Park. It's the Royse City Bulldogs 11 and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs 3. Back with the bottom of the 7th right after this. Bottom of the 7th inning, and Royse City with an 11-3 lead. And for the Wildcats, they'll have Jackson Cheney, Jace Thompson, and Cameron Harrison, the 3 scheduled hitters. And the Wildcats hope a lot more as they try to have to score 8 here to keep this one alive. And here's Jackson Cheney. He's got a hit tonight, 1 out of 2. Had an RBI single in the 3rd. Also flied to center and walked. Against Cole Stewart, the sidewinder. And that one's outside for ball 1. Sidearm pitcher. They're really tough on the right-handed hitters. And the 1-0 pitch swung on by Cheney and drilled right up the middle, but right at the center fielder in his tracks. Boy, that ball was hammered, but hit right at the center fielder, Josh Hendricks, for out number 1. That's buzzard's luck there when you hit the ball that hard and just right at somebody. So 1 up, 1 out, and here's Jace Thompson. He also has a hit on the night. He hit into a double play in the first, popped a second, singled and scored in the 5th. So he is 1 out of 3. Hits with 1 out, nobody on here at the bottom of the 7th inning. And Cole Stewart's pitch on the way is swung on and hit down the right field way into foul territory, and nobody can catch that one. That's strike number 1. And so 0-1 now the count. And here's Cole Stewart's pitch on the 0-1 pitch. That's well outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Stewart looks like he's thrown about 28 pitches. He came in the 5th. Finished off 2 batters in that inning. Pitched the whole 6th and now in the 7th. And there's a call strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Jace Thompson. Well, the Wildcats on the verge of slipping to 2-4 in district play. And they've got these same pesky Bulldogs in Royse City on Friday night. Here's a 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. And the Wildcats, well, let's see, that count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Thompson still alive up there at home plate with a 1-2 count. Cole Stewart looking in. He likes to throw that big curve up there from the sidearm. And now Thompson swings, got ahead of that one, hit it foul down the left field way. The left fielder chased but couldn't catch up to it, and a lot of foul territory there down that line. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jace Thompson. Trying to see when the next time we'll have a Wildcat baseball game. Well, it looks like we've got a game in about a week against Texas High. I know we just had them, but actually that's a Lady Cat game. I apologize. I'll have to continue to check for the Wildcats. There's call strike 3 to Thompson for out number 2. Yeah, that Texas High game, I know we've already done them in baseball. Not that we couldn't do them twice, but no telling who the Wildcats are playing that night. Actually, it'll be a Mount Pleasant ball game coming up on April the 16th. So, but of course, you never can tell about the weather and rescheduling, so we may get some other shots at them. And here's Cameron Harrison, 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 7th. Stewart's pitch is in there for a call strike. Harrison has a hit tonight as he grounded to the first baseman unassisted the first 2 times up and then hit a double. And the 0-1 pitch from Cole Stewart swung on, hit foul. That nipped the umpire. Boy, got him on the arm, and he's taking a promenade right now, taking a little walk to kind of walk that off. Boy, that had to sting. That caught his left arm. At least that's not the strike calling arm, but I'm sure that would have very little bearing on anything right now. That just really has to hurt as he continues to walk that off. Coming over and talking to Clay Wolf, and Clay patted him on the back and gave him another baseball. And now he's going to toss it to the catcher to give to Cole Stewart, the pitcher. As Harrison hit a foul ball that nicked that umpire right on that bare arm. There's just, there's a lot of them wear that protector, that chest protector, and that's inside, and but boy, those arms are just exposed, and he caught it on that left arm, and that had to hurt. Probably have a nice bruise from that one. And Stewart with the 0-2 pitch, just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a man of conviction right there. After being hit on the arm, he could have said, "I'm ready to go home. I'll just ring that one up." But he said, "No, that's a ball, and And so we have one more pitch anyway. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swung on. Harrison fouls it into the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Royse City was 17 hits tonight. 11 runs and 17 hits. They had 4 errors. That's the one black mark on them tonight. And for the Wildcats, 3 runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. Ooh, this will not go in my memoirs. Swung on and hit foul. I've covered some great Wildcat baseball games, some that have been very exciting. But I think we'll leave this Royse City game out of here. Think about that. I saw Justin Owens the other night was at the ball game. I thought about that Sherman game. He hit a huge home run that got the Wildcats back in that ball game. And the next pitch, that's down too low. Yeah, that was quite a ball game. The Wildcats came back. They even gave up a lead in extra innings and then came back and won it in the bottom of the inning. Very exciting ball game. Here's a 2-2 pitch. That's outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. First baseball game that I ever did for the Wildcats. They played Paris, and they came back in the last inning and scored twice to win. I think it was a 3-2 ball game. I said, man, this is going to be great working here. They got great games. There's a ball hit foul back out of play. But as we learned tonight, they're not all gems. But then you think of somebody like Eric Nadell, and you think about all of the probably miserable Texas Ranger losses and bad games that he's seen over the years. And the 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and that's going to do it for the Wildcats. And just not much to say. Royse City tearing the cover off the ball, 11 runs and 17 hits. And the Wildcats 3 runs and 5 hits. So the Wildcats struggling to get it done with the bat, but they managed to kind of hang around. But then the wheels came off in the top of the 7th as Royse City scored 7 runs and blew the ball game wide open. And they'll take an 11-3 win as Royse City defeats the Wildcats. And both teams now have the same district record of 2 wins and 4 losses. So just a miserable game. Not much else we can say. So might as well just wrap this one up. The Wildcats would probably be better to kind of put this one in the rearview mirror and just come out with new resolve to try to win a game on Friday and try to get 1 out of 3 against these Royse City Bulldogs. The only team the Royse City Bulldogs have defeated in district play this year are the Wildcats. They have 2 wins against them and 4 losses against everybody else they've played so far. And the Wildcats now slipped to 2-4, and the reason they have the losing record is because of the 2 losses to Royse City. But oh boy. And they've already, whoever was running the scoreboard has already erased this one, thank goodness. But unfortunately, I remember the score. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. James Terry running spots back at the station. Thank you, James, very much. Doug Haston shot every bit of this one. And he also did all the engineering, does a great job on that. Probably does not wish me to say that because now we're expected all the time from him, and we do. But great job with the camera and with the engineering. And I'm Don Julian with your play-by-play. And telling you that once again our final score here from Wildcat Park, the Royse City Bulldogs 11 and the Wildcats of Sulphur Springs 3. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and so long, everybody.
Thank you, Don. You've been listening to Wildcat Baseball on KSST 1230 AM Sulphur Springs.